We're going to try this again with the round two. What's good, everybody? JP checking in. Respect my region. This is another episode of the Legacy Cannabis Podcast on RMR TV. Today, we're going to be having as a very special guest on Kylee Danaher from LB Collective and Top Shelf Cultivation. We're going to be chatting with her a little bit about her come up in cannabis, her experience operating a family-owned and retail. So we're going to get into that. Yo. Bring her on up.
Let's
She's
try
back. Are you on Wi-Fi, Kylee?
I am. I don't get service if I'm not.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, here we go. We'll just if it lags again, you're gonna have to just close out and come back.
Will do.
All right. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you joining. Again, everybody, make sure you guys can go check out that RMR Legacy Smalls available at Kylie's Dispensary there in Long Beach, family owned, family operated. Kylee, you are 23 years old, managing a dispensary, buying, paying, invoicing, going and probably buying glass and stuff for the shop. I'm really interested in kind of how you became into this role and what your day-to-day is like.
I definitely didn't try to get this role. Things just happened and it just kind of fell into the lap at one point. It was right when I started my master's degree, so a lot kind of came into me, into my kind of position, my life in May of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of shifted. And since then, I've just been slowly picking things up, trying to figure out how we can better things, how we can change our systems. And that's kind of what I've done in the last year or two.
Super exciting to to say fall in the lap. Like it's a family run business, right? So can you elaborate and bring a little bit of clarity to what it means to be a Danaher in this family? Because I feel like you guys have built a Long Beach empire with your brand of cannabis flower and then also your retail.
Yes, we have tried. We've been operating since 2008 when we got our medical license in Long Beach. My dad and my uncle are co-owners. And when medical kind of was taken away from us, my uncle was a co-founder for the LBCA, and they tried to get us back into the legal game. And that's when 2018 kind of came around and everything shifted. With having our own retail, we are able to definitely promote our own flower like crazy, and it definitely helps spread the word of the WOSI, and here we are today.
The WOSI.
Yeah.
What did you just say? With the WOSI? What is the WOSI?
The WOSI, that is our #1 selling strain. That is what we are known for. We've been winning High Times Awards, WeedCon, tons of different awards since 2018 with that strain.
That is the strain that I first discovered your pops winning the award for in High Times in 2018, and was, I'd say, and probably still is, a top 5, top 10 smoke at any given moment, depending on who you're with or where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And what time of the day it is.
Yeah.
That WOSI is going to be more potent than 99 out of 100 things.
I definitely agree with you on that one.
Now, I know that that's the family that's becoming the pride and joy of the fam with that particular strain. What other strains do you guys currently have on the menu? I've heard and seen recently, I know the peanut butter breath as well as others.
Peanut butter breath, we actually just won 3rd place on that one at the High Times event about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago now. Another good one that we've kind of that's been around for years is our OG. My dad's been really growing it since 99. Another fan favorite would be the Candyland. That was a sativa we grew about a couple years ago. Definitely won a couple awards on that one from High Times. My personal favorite would have to be a Girl Scouts or like the Long Beach cookies.
Okay. What about those strains really makes you choose those ones over like the WOSI or one of the others?
I've always liked Girl Scout. I like the sweetness to it. I'm not really a fan of the taste of weed. That sounds weird, but like the gassy, the OG, not my style. That's kind of why I fell in love with the WOSI, because it does not taste like normal weed to me. It sometimes tastes like bubble gum. Sounds weird, but that's truly sometimes what it tastes like.
Interesting. That's an interesting description for that one. I've definitely not heard that. Having smoked the Wosi for countless jars and bags, I've never thought that bubblegum was there. But to each their own in cannabis, that's kind of the beauty of it, is that we all have different palates and flavors. Things taste differently to each of us. I grew up not liking cilantro. Now I love cilantro on everything. So
You never.
one of those. One of those. Now you are in the retail, you're in a dispensary on the day-to-day. You know, how much of buying and selling weed and working in a dispensary is really just being a fucking stoner? Like, really bring, like, what's the real reality of being a bud tender and being there at the dispensaries?
I guess not zero, maybe like 10%. You kind of have to know what people like, how to smoke, what you personally like, and what you'd want to sell. But other than that, it has nothing to do with being a stoner. It's just a normal business, and we are there to operate just like everybody else in any other industry, honestly. And that's what the biggest thing I guess people don't really see or understand when they look at us and what we're doing, or going to an event and hanging out and smoking. Yeah, we're getting high, but for the most part, we're pushing out a brand, we're pushing out our name, we're networking to then do something for ourselves, not even just the brand at that point.
Yeah. And to truly be a successful entrepreneur in cannabis, you know, is there, like, obviously the amount of time you put in doesn't always equate to success, but you know, I know we've talked about it in the past about how much time you really put into this. You know, your job isn't just a 40-hour work week, right?
Yeah.
Talk about the real level of commitment and passion and dedication that it takes for you to really grow that brand and to really see success in this space.
I truly work at least 8 hours at the shop. I do commute to and from. After that, there's usually an event 2 or 3 times a week that we're attending, whether that's 2 hours, 3 hours, not including the commute to that. And I would also have to say that I'm still in school. I'm supposed to be finishing tonight. My assignment's due in like an hour. I'm hoping to get it in. But with that, I would say I put in at least 10, 11 hours every single day, whether it's talking to people, whether I'm actually physically working, turning in something, doing something for work. Definitely involved with cannabis, though.
Like even us being homies and doing this show, it's still in the name of business, right? It's like, yeah, we get to do this and we enjoy each other and we smoke weed and it's all fire and it's fun and games and shit, right? Talking shit, smoking fire, talking shit, smoking hash holes, you know what I'm saying? But it's not all fun and games, right? Like, we are, both of us, pushing brands. We've been big fans of your family's brand. Your father has been a major supporter of us over the last 5 years. I'd say 5 years now that I've known him. And it's been a blessing for you guys to continue winning awards and just to continue seeing the success. Not to say I picked a good one, but you know, I literally walked into a music festival and watched your dad win on stage. Went up to him 5 minutes later. I know you've heard the story a million times, but he was just down to meet me. And I just, you know, when you're not from somewhere and you got no friends and you know, you're just there in the name of trying to find good weed. It's just like, you know, to quote him, fucking A. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a really great friendship and relationship, getting to know you, getting to know Kevin, the other Kev, getting to know Kelsey. You know, shout out Kelsey for being the person who I DM'd. And when I actually moved to California, and I was like, who do I know? Who can I link up with? I thought, damn, 6 months before, I had just went to a cannabis cup by myself. I met this brand. They were the best. Now I'm here. Let me DM them. And he said, yeah, bro, pull up on the shop. Come say what's up. And just being that kind of energy and vibe. LA and California is a lot of cool boys club. And even Top Shelf. Y'all grow fire. It's not meant for everybody. It's really not. It's that fire. It's that heavy. It's that potent. It's that pungent. Whatever the turbolicious words are. But the reality is that y'all as a family are mad cool. I got a lot of love for you, so I appreciate you. I want to get to a part, because I know you got to bounce and we're already running late, but I want to get to a part of the interview where we talk a little bit about some hot takes. I know you know a lot about cannabis. I know you're smart about the weed. I know you know your terps. I know you know your products. I know you know all this shit. So we're going to test you just a little bit. You're one of the rare people that I can do a little bit of trivia with, and
Oh,
we can
no.
see what's up. So the first things first, I'm going to test you. Do you know some parent genetic? We're going to do some parent genetic testing.
Oh, no. No, here we go.
Nothing too crazy. We're going to go just with some classics. Now, do you know, you said you like Girl Scout. Do you know the parent genetics of Girl Scout?
You might have just tested me on all of this.
Ooh! Okay, so that one's one. We'll get back to me on that one. Okay, the parent genetics of Girl. I know what it is. Now, then there's the terpenes. You know your terps, right? Okay. Do you know, because you guys sell the Wosuo, what are the terpenes in Wosuo? What do you guys consistently see in that?
The highest would be carafillin, there's mycerine, and there's limonene. Those are going to be the top three.
What was the first one again? It started lagging.
Carafillin, but that's in everything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Okay. So you get this spicy, sour gas.
That is where we get one of the highest, for sure.
Wow.
Humaline's in well, but not. I feel like I want to say the humaline and mycerine are pretty close, but I know for a fact the carafillin's crazy high, like double the amount of everything else, and then the limonene's in there as well.
That's. I mean, that earthiness gets into this level when there's like this certain like caryophyllene below 1%, below 0.75%. It's just earthy. It's like dirt, musk. And then it gets to 1% and 1.5%, and it becomes gas. It becomes earthy, spicy gas. It's really interesting how that works. Now, for you there at the shop, you know, we work together on marketing and retail projects, text messaging, and a variety of data-driven things. What are you noticing as some of the most popular products in the store? What is, outside of your guys' product, outside of the WOSI and Top Shelf, what are those brands and products that relentlessly perform at a high level?
I would say, at least that was very surprising for my store and consumer base. I would say Ted Buds has definitely blown my shelf in my mind. When putting it on the shelf, I was like, there's no way this is going to sell. It's really expensive. I will say they have a huge consumer base that's just searching for it, whether it's the packaging. They don't even have to see the flower. They honestly are just going after each little package. Another brand would be Cold Fire. Cold Fire doesn't do any deals compared to the rest. The rest of the brands are pretty much handing out stuff at this point to really keep themselves with the consumer base. And Cold Fire doesn't have to do that, and they can continuously get the buyers without having to give any of those free items. Another brand, of course, would have to be Stizzy. Stizzy will forever sell off of my shelf. Even if I tried to take it off, I couldn't.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's a marketing brand at this point. That's kind of where they put all of their focus in really trying to get everybody to know what Stizzy is. And it's just one of those things that if you don't smoke weed and you walk into a place and you kind of recognize that name, you're going to purchase that for the first couple times until you know better, until you've been taught, like, okay, maybe I should buy this product or this product. And that kind of goes down to the people with the money to put it into people's faces.
Do you feel like there's really a big difference between Stizzy products and a lot of these other products from a quality perspective? Or is there truly something from a quality standpoint with that brand that maybe plays into these decisions? Because I've bought a lot of Stizzy flower in the past, never the vapes. The rosin vape once. I liked the rosin vape. It was fine. And the flower has always been okay based on the category of flower I was buying, right? Like the indoor was okay. The outdoor was not something that I would ever have liked, for example. So it was like, it's been on point. What are your thoughts on the quality versus price and then comparing it to other brands?
I would say one big thing is their disposables. A lot of them end up dying before the wax is out, and so that's kind of been a deterrent there. I would say not so much anymore, but I feel like a couple years ago we were getting a lot of clogged pods, and so a lot of people were returning them. They weren't hitting. Just little things, but I don't think that it's special enough to have that much of a fame or background behind it. I
Interesting.
don't think that their products are that special. Like, for instance, we've carried their flower. It doesn't move.
Yeah.
They're not that popular. The only thing that truly does move would be the carts, the pods, that kind of stuff.
Now, someone comes in there. Well, first off, where are you guys actually located? Because I'm not from Long Beach. So what does a Long Beach local describe? Where, like, how do I find your shop? Where's it at?
Okay, so a couple people would give me shit for this, but I would say off of the 91 and the 710 freeway. Those are the two connecting freeways about a mile away from me. But it's really off of Cherry and Artesia next to Bottoms Up Bar, which is an old bar that closed down about a year ago. And if you're from Long Beach, you've definitely heard of the story regarding the bar. So that definitely is like, oh, I know where that place is.
Yeah. Anybody older than us is going to know that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Now, growing up in, like, I know you grew up closer to the San Diego area in theory, correct? Or no, or all Long Beach?
Mm-hmm.
So growing up in Long Beach, and this is an easier question. So growing up in Long Beach then, what are those hot spots for food? Where's the slaps? Because I see the Instagram story, always eating fire-ass Mexican food all over the place. Growing up in that area, you got to know some of the spots already.
My favorite spot is going to be the Fish Company, and that's not even really in Long Beach. It's in Los Alamitos, but I go there probably once a week. Go there, sit at happy hour, and then I usually go over to Infused Digitals where they do Cannabis Capital, and they do a couple different events at night for some of the brands that kind of get together.
But that's not a food spot.
Fish Company is.
Fish
yes,
Company
it
is. But what about some other food spots? Come on. What about, you didn't mention none of them taco spots that I always see.
I don't think they're ever really in Long Beach, unfortunately.
Well, that's all done by you. What are those places then? What's the plug on those?
Well, I have to say the best pizza is in Long Beach, Me and Ed's, outside of our own pizza, of course. But Me and Ed's has the best pizza. Kev actually brought me some of that for lunch the other day. I was very stoked on that. Me and Ed's is like 10 minutes away from the shop. So good. So good. But Mexican, honestly, I don't really know that good of a Mexican spot. I walked to Mexican today. 2 blocks away from the shop. The best chicken quesadilla for $10. So easy.
Where is that at?
I don't know the name. It's like El Taco or something. El Taco number 2, maybe?
El Taco number 2. Shout out El Taco number 2. Teriyaki 46. Shout out Pho 57. Shout out, Dave's Hot Chicken 38. You know what I'm saying? All the spots. Like, there's some fire out there. There's a teriyaki spot out there by you guys that I really fuck with.
That is your
Now, Kylee, we're gonna go back to the weed conversation. What is your true thoughts on THC? I know a lot of people come in, talk about THC. Give me this, give me indica, high THC. Lay it on the people. We're a consumer publication. We usually talk with rappers. We usually talk with DJs. We're usually not blessed with a guest who sells weed full time for a living. What are your thoughts on THC so that people can hear it?
So THC doesn't really mean much. I mean, it does. It gives you some idea of what you're seeing. It gives you a little bit of insight. But you have to think when it comes to the legal market, unless you're testing it at home and you have a machine that can pull it right then and there on each nug that you're smoking, you really don't know it. Because when it comes through testing, you get a whole batch and you're only testing a little tiny bit of that batch to really show the THC that you can sell on the market. Now with that, I compare it on simpler terms. Some people would probably give me, say that this isn't the best way to describe it, but a batch of cookies. When you cook it in the oven, sometimes your oven doesn't cook right. And for instance, when it comes to testing and sampling, you're grabbing only one cookie to try it, and you're not getting a taste of every single cookie. So that could then give you a totally different THC. I mean, it's not giving you a big difference, but when it comes to the THC and you getting high, you can smoke something at 45% and it's not going to get you high because the terpenes aren't really in there, or it didn't work well with your body and what your cannabinoid system kind of reacts with it. And something at 25 may be the best thing for you, but it's the right strain, the right terpenes. Again, your receptors are working a little bit better than they would with it.
Not only is there a strain in my opinion, for each scenario of the day, but there is a strain, a consumption method for most of the various realities that you could be in general. Whether you're feeling sick or a mood booster or anxious or battling with a pretty serious, disease to some extent, there has been feedback, reviews, proof, maybe not scientific study, scalable money investorship proof, but there's definitely been proof of impact being able to be had. And so with that said, I'd like to chat a little bit about the different cannabinoids and some of their impact. I know that, from a scientific standpoint, CBN, sleep, THCV, more so inhibiting the appetite and kind of, practicing focus, too much anxiety, so on and so forth. When you have patients coming in there, and we're talking, Long Beach locals, people that have been consuming cannabis 10, 20, 30, 40, sometimes hopefully still 50 years. That's getting pretty old. What are some of those recommendations of products, of strains that you make for somebody that's coming in and they're clearly dealing with some sleep issues, or they're clearly dealing with some anxiety?
Sleep and anxiety, and if we're looking at flower, 100% the Wosiwo, without a doubt, at least in my store. I do have a couple other strains that I would definitely recommend, but outside of flower, I always go to gummies, and my favorite gummy is the wild gummies with the CBN in there, as well as the CBG, the pear one. A newer brand that's kind of came out is Plus Products, and the Plus Products, they have a really good ratio when it comes to relief and calm, and they do a lot of, I want to say it's 1 THC, 20 CBD, 5 CBG, and I actually recommended that to somebody today. And then there's a calm one that has 1 THC and 10 CBD, and that again is more of like that relaxation, less anxiety,
Yeah.
not completely on the nervous system, but still going through.
Now, to clarify for most people, 1 milligram of THC with 10 milligrams of CBD is not really going to be felt to somebody that's just sitting there smoking a joint. Like, if you smoke joints and you take dabs, 1 milligram of THC is not going to do anything to you. And let me break it down. You guys see my pinky nail right here? The full size of it, right? Pretty little. That's how much flower it takes to equal 10 milligrams of THC, basically. And that's pretty average weed. It could be even less if the weed is much more potent. And that's the reality of this, is that for you to have high THC products, or in this case, these low THC ratios, these different THC quantities, it really has a significant difference. Too much THC actually restricts blood flow. It actually restricts airflow in your body. Poor blood flow and bad airflow in your body is not good for you. Too much weed is not great for your body. Yeah, it's crazy, right? But to have the right scientific impact, if you want to go to sleep, if you want to get rid of that anxiety, what do you really truly recommend for someone who's starting off? I know they always say slow and slow, right?
Are we talking flower wise?
Anything.
Okay, well, for the most part, usually when people are coming in for sleep, they're not even willing to smoke flower. They're looking more so for an edible because that's what other people have recommended, because they've resourced through the internet and found that these gummies work, and they've tried hemp gummies for the most part, and they're getting them from wherever. So that's why they come to a dispensary to find a little bit more potent product, and that's when they realize the difference between what they were buying versus what they are buying now. And I would recommend like half of a gummy. If it doesn't work, try a whole gummy tomorrow night. See if that works for you. If it doesn't, sometimes edibles don't really break down in our systems the way they should, or the way we think they're going to. So sometimes edibles just don't work for people. So that's when I say, okay, if the edible's not working, then come try flower if you're willing to try it. But for the most part, a lot of people aren't even willing to try the flower.
Why do you think that is?
They don't know how. They don't know how to roll a joint. They don't know how to smoke out of a pipe or a bong. They don't want other people to know that they're using it. And it's still one of those things that unless you get high, it's a secret. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
No,
It's still very
truth.
upcoming, very new to everybody.
Interesting. So, I mean, the stigma is clearly still there. You know, they're looking for an answer, and they don't. And smoking isn't good. Like, it's not healthy at the end of the day, right? I mean, we as stoners, we hide behind this veil that smoking weed is healthy somehow, right? Like it's good for us, and it's like, you know, cannabis is good for us. Smoking is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that's what people don't realize, and I guess that's where the education needs to come into the industry at, honestly, like the bud tender level, to be able to pass that on to the consumers and be able to describe that fine line between the two of those things.
Now, I know LB Collective is always in need of talented bud tenders. So what in your eyes, what makes a quality bud tender?
Ooh. Being able to think on your feet when it comes to a patient being in front of you. It's really scary being a bud tender because, especially in the beginning, you don't want to recommend the wrong product. You don't really, maybe you've never tried it. You have to lie that you've tried it and said, oh yeah, it's really good. So it's really scary, and being able to take their symptoms or take what they are trying to accomplish with being in there, and going through, like, in your head, you have a couple different categories, you have a couple products per category that you can pull from and offer to that consumer. And I think being able to think on your feet and be able to provide exactly what they're wanting without really even knowing what they want is probably...
It's not only a trick, but it's kind of a magic skill, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's kind of like a skill that you slowly learn over time, and it's definitely not something that's easy, and it's not made for everybody, I can tell you that.
Because it's still retail. Like, these people really don't give that much of a shit. But then all of a sudden you have like 3 people in a row that give hella fucks. Like the most fucks.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Can I see the THC harvest date? And it's like, who even taught you that? And I'm the one to probably teach them that. And I have to go with it.
Well,
and I have to...
I remember when I was a bud tender, we naturally discovered things that were important to us. Oh, I like this Candyland cookies. It's one of my favorite strains back in 2016. And like, I remember like, damn, that was fire. And then you look at the package, right? You look at it and it's like, okay, well, this must be why it's fire, right? Oh, 36. Oh, terpenes 2. Oh, harvest date. Oh, it's fresh. Oh, wow. Well, peanut butter and jelly equals PB&J. It's that easy. Like, okay, those things must be the reason why this is so great. And then if you buy weed enough, you start learning. Well, you start realizing, like,
in the industry, that the test is not usually the same as what's on the label and what you're actually reading. So really, you can't put too much importance on what they are saying as a THC or the terpenes, because really, you don't know it, and you're just kind of being shown an example of it, or a range.
But that's where they learn it from, right? Is this packaging, right? And then as a bud tender, we mention, oh yeah, look at this OG. It's 30%. It's got 2%. There's only 5 things of information on the bag. It's not like there's, oh look, it's got 8 milligrams of vitamin C. Oh, look, 2% vitamin D is in it. There's not 37 nutrition facts like on regular food or regular beverages. There's only THC, harvest date, the gram size, and, like, if you're lucky, terpenes. And even that costs money to put it on there like that. And so the industry it's a particularly interesting space to be in. And I find that in the retail side of things, that those THC numbers, the terpenes, those little points, they just have so much value and impact. And so I appreciate you sharing your thoughts on the THC and talking a little bit about terpenes as well, especially for the WOSIWO, and recommending some products. What's the happenings going on with Top Shelf Cultivation and LB Collective? What do you guys have coming up on the horizon?
We have nothing but fire coming up on the 9th, and that is going to be the competition with Mikey and a shitload of brand, and hopefully we bring home another award. And then on the 16th, there is the Win event. It's their second event of, I want to say they're going to be doing one every month. And so we just did one in August. It was a great turnout. I want to say 10 brands there. We're going to do the same thing at a different event. So definitely looking forward to that. Side, we have actually a really nice deal going on in September with Top Shelf and the concentrate. So it's like buy a jar, get a concentrate for $1. We're doing it pretty much.
Wow.
If you know, you know. And then same with the gelato brand, buy one, get one until it's pretty much gone. So definitely pretty cool.
Sounds fire. Sounds like there's some good deals and some big moves going on. Some serious terpage. I appreciate your time tonight, Kylee. I know you got to get over to finish up that schoolwork. You know, I got a bunch of interns on our team, and I always tell them school first. So go get that shit done and kill that shit. And you and I will definitely be seeing each other in IRL soon.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Let's go. Everybody, we got Kylee Danaher in the building, man, representing LB Collective, Top Shelf Cultivation. If you're in California or you ever come in this bitch, you need to make sure you buy the Wo-Si-Wo, try the peanut butter breath, and visit their dispensary. Award-winning brand, award-winning dispensary, great teriyaki down the street. Don't sleep on it. Kylee, I appreciate you. You have a good rest of your evening. And everybody else, make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe and talk that shit because we got more interviews coming no matter what the fuck you do. We out.
Thank you.
All right, homie. Peace.